Welcome to Sakshi TV. I'm your host, Geeta Chopra. Today we're going to cover the U.S. elections 2020, special coverage with Gino Harris, Black Voices for Trump regional coordinator and political activist. He's going to be talking to you about voting, why it's so important, and what you need to know before you go out there and cast your vote. Gino Harris, welcome.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you for having me.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we are super excited to talk to you today about the U.S. election. So before we get into all the questions, go ahead and tell the audience more about your background and who you are.
Thank you. Appreciate it. My name is Gino Harris. I'm 31 years old. I reside from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, and I am a Republican activist as well as now the regional coordinator for Western PA for Black Voices for Trump, where the whole point of my organization is to engage the Black community as well, and letting them know basically what Trump has done and what he plans to do and moving the Black community forward, as well as keeping America great.
Okay, great. Now you've done some great things. You have some really good accomplishments, and we'll get into that as the show progresses. But talk to the viewers today and the voters. If anyone's out there right now watching you from the United States, and they haven't voted yet, why is this election year more important than most, if not one of the most important in our history?
Oh, absolutely. I think that this election is very important because of the climate of our nation right now, politically as well as socially. I think that policies and laws we're seeing actually dictate outcomes and circumstances down to the average American. And it's actually time that we make a stand by voting to show where we're standing to prevent the nation from going out of control, as well as changing the entire structure of our nation.
Okay. Now, you spoke to me off camera about the left and why you were concerned with minority groups specifically, and you are from a visible minority group, that those groups tend to gravitate left because of the color of their skin. They tend to vote towards a certain party. So you expressed concern over that. So what are some of your thoughts surrounding that?
Yes, ma'am. Appreciate it. It's not so much the color of the skin, it's more the mentality. The left has found a way to infiltrate the Black community as well as other minorities, but predominantly the Black community culturally. So it's not just that it's a political stance within mine, it's a cultural cancer, I feel, embedded into my community at which they don't even see the right. And I think that is the issue. I think we need to change that, and that is what my purpose is, to engage, to let them know that the Republican actually does want your vote and they actually do care about your community under Donald Trump.
Okay, and now you mentioned an interesting phrase. You said cultural cancer. So what do you mean by that?
I feel that it's a cultural cancer because it's embedded in my community culturally. If you look at every other demographic and community, they usually vote close to 50-50. They don't have a problem going either way. It's more based on candidate. But if you look at mine, despite other Republican candidates in the past, they've solely been 90-something better. I think the last one who got a double digit out of the Black community was Ronald Reagan, and that was over, 30 years ago. So I call it a cancer because a lot of times when cancer is growing, you don't feel symptoms. You don't see the damage it's causing. And that's what I feel the Democratic Party is doing and has done within my community.
Okay, and that's a very interesting way to phrase the question, or sorry, to phrase your answer. I've never heard it put that way. So you're saying that voting left amongst the Black community has become a cancer. So may I ask you, what do you think the main impetus or I guess the attraction or motivating piece is that the left attracts your people with, and then therefore the generational voting pattern continues? Well, what are some of those things?
Well, it's quite simple. So what happened was Martin Luther King led the Black community from Republican to Kennedy and gave him 80% of the vote. And Kennedy's agenda was to pass laws benefiting the Black man and woman. The problem is he was assassinated, but Johnson continued that agenda. The problem is we were never meant to stay overwhelmingly either side. We were meant to actually be bipartisan and play both sides to gain laws and policies that benefit our community. Well, the Democrats they found a way to control that. Now, whether it was to keep baiting, saying they're going to do this, they're going to do that, election in, election out, that's up to, basically based upon research, that's what I would say they've done. And the thing is that we've been so used to being told the same thing, we don't even realize that it's never coming from the side. And it wouldn't, because they already have our vote. So if they already got us, why do they need to do something for us? And that's why with Donald Trump, he enacted policies and he's shown results. And I'm trying to let our people know that, so that we can get on to the right side and play both sides, be bipartisan and get the change we need within our community, which will make America better in general.
Okay, great. And you definitely sound very motivated and informed. And I'm going to get into the questions about Trump as well, just in a little bit, about what he's done for you and your community. But I'm still wanting to know a little bit more about this. So you're saying they basically attract them in such a way so then it becomes a generational voting pattern. And are there any things like, well, what about the economy? I mean, do you think that people can now see the difference in the economy? So maybe some Democrats are voting left, or like, are you seeing any of that? Like, how has your political activism impacted your community?
Well, okay, so in regards to my political activism, it has been me going out within the community and educating my brothers and sisters on politics as well as policies. Now, the Democrat, it's coming from grandparents, okay? So that generation instilled and brought us up to feel that Democrat is for the poor man and it's for the black man. But based upon history of policies enacted, it contradicts that sentiment. There hasn't been progress under the Democrat. There hasn't been policies since the 60s that were bipartisan, like the Civil Rights Act of 64, the Voters' Rights Act of 65. We really haven't seen monumental policies enacted by the left since then, and it was both sides who voted for that. So to me, it's because they got our grandparents, our mothers and fathers, and now it's on us. And it's not gotten better. We're seeing the nation being torn apart by the same things. It's time to move on. It's time to reconcile with the Republican Party and get back on the right side.
So if they say insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, and if you keep doing what you always did, you'll get what you always got. Is that kind of what I'm hearing from you?
Oh my goodness, you literally took it right out of my brain. Absolutely, it's okay. Political insanity,
political
and it's
insanity. That's what we think we're dealing with here. Okay. All right. Well, you talked about some of the presidents. I want to mention JFK because I heard somebody quote the other day that the Democratic Party of JFK has dissolved and now a new radical left has been born, which is not in sync with the original party platform. So according to you, is that true or false? And what do you think?
Absolutely. Now, given I wasn't alive at that time, but from what I've seen in the stances made, absolutely. Back in the day, the Republican and Democratic Party was very close knitted as far as differences. Now it is getting out of control. We need to bring it back in, hone it in, and not forget our morals and our foundations within this nation. In the simple fact that the left is constantly now trying to berate free stuff. Nothing is free in America. Everything is either going to be taxed. So if you get free anything, your taxes are going up, and that's less money for us to make actual business moves to propel our families for future generations.
I understand. Okay. And you talked a little bit about the economy before. So what has Trump done for the Black community, or I should say the African-American community, in terms of job creation that you know of?
Well, right. Now, I know that he's created many jobs. And from me personally, from what I've seen in my communities in Western Pennsylvania, there was a lot of manufacturing jobs being blown up. And I feel that Trump initiated those moves. But to me, the economy is, lowest unemployment, Black unemployment rate in history, jobs being created. But to me, it was more impact on other social issues such as criminal justice reform, school choice, and historical Black college funding that actually shown me that he cares more about, in particular, my community specifically.
Okay. And then that's interesting. So I'm going to touch a little bit more on additional minority groups. So you're talking largely today to a South Asian audience and of course, Americans as well. But there's a lot of immigrants who come here from South Asia or India, anywhere like this, and they will automatically vote left. So what would you say to them, and what's your opinion on that? Is that kind of the same thing that you were referring to earlier when you said that there's a generational pull towards the Black community in the United States? Do you feel that same push and pull towards the immigrant community, that Democratic Party kind of just consumes them, or is that not the case?
Oh, that's a great point. And to them, I would say we got 60 years of being aligned, over 60 years of being aligned with them. Nothing's gotten better. They told us the same song and dance they sing to y'all. Nothing has gotten better. I'm telling you from experience in the Black community, impoverished community, they don't propel. What they're doing is they're selling you something to gain your vote. Once they get that vote, you will then be pushed to the back of the line to the new demographic that they're trying to pursue. Democrats are basically consumers of numbers. They don't care about giving you results. They may give you some results in the beginning, but after that, you won't get nothing for 60 years once they know they got you. So again, I understand that they preach, the Democrats perceive that they're very big on immigration, but keep in mind, it was Barack Obama who made those cages. It was Barack Obama who also had a higher extradition rate than Trump his first term. So don't be deceived by we're so welcoming. No, they're not. Republicans welcome immigration. They just welcome legal immigration, which I'm sure most of them do. You will have everything you want from the right.
Right, and I believe the people you're speaking to are mostly legal immigrants, and they're coming here, they're registered to vote, therefore they're legal.
Yes.
So you're saying the Republican Party does support legal immigration versus illegal. And correct me if I'm wrong, but was it not Bill Clinton who signed the 1996 immigration laws, which got people deported, a lot of immigrants deported, and harsh immigration laws that came out? I believe it was 1996.
Yes, I believe it was Bill Clinton who issued that. And at the same time, in 94, he issued the crime bill that Joe Biden drafted, which led to the largest incarceration of blacks and minorities in the history of the United States.
Okay. So you're not supporting all this, and so you want legal immigration as well. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. I went to many universities in which I encountered and discussed with legal immigration. One of my closest friends is a legal immigrant. His family worked very hard to gain that status, and I think that once you gain it through your hard work, you feel pride in that. If it's just given away,
Dream, right?
It's absolutely the American dream. And again, we don't want to restrict business. And a lot of immigrants, they come work hard. They want to own businesses. They want to go and do successful occupations like doctors, lawyers. You don't want to be stripped of that, your hard works, and not reap the benefits of your labors. And the left will do so with their policies and their plans that they plan on enacting.
So it sounds like, economically speaking, you're pretty set on the fact that the left, I mean, there's no rewards really if we vote for a Democratic government in Washington, D.C. So we're definitely going to talk more about economics. And, again, it's just something you expressed to me, that it's really sad when minority groups, or whether it's the Black community or the Indian community or certain groups, just make uninformed decisions. So I think what you're saying today is that everybody should really be informed, whether they're an immigrant or they've been here their whole lives. But especially if they're a minority group, they should actually be more informed when they vote to make the right decision. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just look at basically what has been done from the Democrat for the Black community. A man who helped put millions in prison. So again, if you just look at the track record of the Democratic Party, you will see that there is no progress as they claim. And it's been over 60 years, my people has been under that. And it's time we move on. So please do your due diligence, look at the plans offered. And this man right here, promises made, promises kept. He keeps his word, Donald Trump.
Okay, I like that. All right, so let's talk about our founding fathers. We mentioned a couple of presidents. We talked about JFK. What about Abraham Lincoln? Now, he was the first Republican president, and he freed the slaves. So he was against slavery, and he was Republican. What would he say today about everything that's happening, the whole political climate, the Republicans and the Democrats? What would he say?
Oh, I think that, the biggest thing he would say is we need unity. I mean, Abraham Lincoln was big on unity. And again, he was the first Republican Party, and he did fight against the Confederates. Now, Abraham Lincoln is still a hero in my book, but it was the Republican Party who actually pushed the abolishment of the slavery. Lincoln, his personal thoughts, you can differentiate on that. But I know based upon today's climate, he would preach unity, because honestly, that's what he wanted even prior to the Civil War. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of the founding fathers, I would agree that we want unity right now. Our country's in chaos, and
right.
Definitely need prayer and unity. Yeah. So I'm going to quote Don Jr., so Donald Trump, his son, what he said on Fox News during the Republican National Convention. You don't want to call 911 and get a voicemail. So what are your thoughts on that, Gino?
With that comment, I didn't see it, or the basically the whole sentence, or what made him lead to that. But based on what you're saying,
talking about defunding the police, and he said it's absolutely scary if you defund the police. You're getting rid of the very people that need to protect you. And he said you're going to empty out the jail. So he basically went on a rampage about not emptying out the jails and getting rid of the police, which would lead to anarchy and complete civil unrest with no law and order. So that's where he's going.
Oh, well, thank you for that. Yeah, I completely concur with him. And the funny thing is, you don't want to call 911 and get a voicemail, but yet in a lot of my Black communities like Detroit and things of that nature, you actually do have a waiting time to reach somebody through 911. So you don't want that. The people that I know from those...
It sounds like we need more funding, not less funding.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the hypocrisy in what they're saying you need to defund the police on one hand, but they're also saying you need more training and things of that nature on the other. So the hypocrisy doesn't even make any sense. You know, in order to get more training and more technology to basically be out there with the police, that costs money. You need funding. So again, and now they're trying, as you see, Minneapolis is actually saying that they were wrong for even championing that, because every great society has law and order, period. You have to have law and order. And the thing is, the police are not the issue. It's the policies enacted by the politicians that the police follow that enables that impunity that they can be, go without blame. So the people we really need to be mad at is the politicians. In a lot of these cities, you see which side they are on.
Okay. I see. I'm soaking this in. Well, thank you for that. Let's talk a little bit more about education. So do you feel that the reason why a lot of people are voting in a certain way, or just automatically, boom, straight ticket, my grandparents did it, my great-grandparents did it, is a lack of education?
Absolutely. I think it's a lack of education as well as a lack of understanding. I mean, I'll speak for my community. In my community, they're telling youth that the Republican Party is racist. As you see, the Democrats, one of their main tactics against Donald Trump is racism. He's a racist. He's not a racist. Racist politicians equal racist policies. Donald Trump has not enacted any racial policies, but the candidate that they're pushing for, he did. So the hypocrisy in the left is just so blatant, but absolutely, I think it's the lack of education, the lack of understanding. And that's what my goal is, to try to blitz on both sides, is that, we need better education. Look who's provided that, especially in my community with school choice and HBCU funding, Donald Trump. We need basically show and prove of action that you're actually going to do what you say. Donald Trump kept his promises that he made to the Black community after only getting 8% of the vote. Only 8. Democrats get 90-something, still don't pass no laws for us. It's time to go.
Wow. I never heard it put that way. I really like it. Racial person equals racial policies, or racist, right? So
yes, ma'am.
That's something to sit down and reflect on. Thank you for that. Now,
appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm going to take it a step further here. And again, you're talking to a lot of South Asians today. And a lot of people from the South Asian community are doctors and are very well educated, actually. And they are in the United States, and they're earning over 6 figures. So what would you say to them in terms of their taxes, being increased or decreased? Which party should they be voting for, and why? And, just in the event that they are voting for what you just said, that they're pulling the race card, that they come here and they're impacted and they don't have a sense of understanding according to what you think they should, what would you say to them? Or how should they be voting?
I would say to them, again, do your diligence. But from my opinion, the right is more beneficial for those who want to take precedent upon themselves to go out and exceed the expectations and actually work hard. Republican policies and things reward those who have the capitalistic mindset. In this nation, we are capitalism. Capitalism, anyone, you can literally go from rags to riches in one lifetime in this nation. And the right rewards those who want to do that. The left believe that, yeah, you worked hard, but you should still give up a large portion of what you made to someone who doesn't want to work hard. That makes no sense here. There's no excuse to fail in America. And I'm a black man saying that, okay? There's no excuse to fail in this nation. You have all the opportunity. Sure, there's things that can get in our way, but in this country, there's always a way to overcome that. So I would say, based upon, if you want to work hard, I would say vote right, and you will be rewarded for that. I guarantee it. And you already rewarded yourself for your labors.
Okay, so it sounds like you're saying the left rewards bad behavior. So if you want to quit your job and not work, they reward you by government assistance, and you're saying that's not the way. It sounds like you're saying that's almost like a communist agenda.
Right. Well, and it's not so much bad behavior. So what I feel is the left wants to reward lack of effort, lack of initiative and drive. So I wouldn't say bad behavior, because then that could be maybe taken to be perceived as like criminal activity. This is more so of laziness, lack of drive and initiative. So you don't want to work, that's fine, stay at home, we'll pay for everything, et cetera, et cetera. Well, what does that do for that person? What does that do for the children? How is that setting an example? No, they should not be rewarded. If you want to help people, that's fine, but you need to limit that, and you need to make it so that they're going to be able to be self-sufficient in an adequate time. You cannot have career people on assistance that are not hindered mentally or physically. If you are completely healthy and competent, you should be wanting to work. And it's because of these policies that many do not.
Wow. Okay. So give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach him
a man to fish, he feeds for a lifetime.
Yes.
That's right.
One of my favorite scriptures. Yes. Amen.
Absolutely.
I understand. So now what do you think about Trump's platinum plan?
Oh my goodness. It's huge. I think the platinum plan,
people might not know. Share with what it is.
well, basically, the platinum plan is for the black community. And in the platinum plan, he's basically pushing the Second Step Act for criminal justice reform to get away with the disparity on sentencing. Because in this nation, you have that a black man can commit a crime, the same crime as a white male, and the white male gets less sentencing and less harsh, at least punishment than the black man. The Second Step Act, especially for nonviolent, drug offenses. So he's bringing in the Second Step Act to help balance out that disparity, which should have already been done, but he's leading the way. Also, he wants to allocate money and resources to uplift the black community, okay, as well as putting money into schools, but giving the family school choice, it's huge, to choose other schools and private schools and still be covered with their money. So, I mean, it's huge. It's basically what he's doing is he's piggybacking off of what he's already done and taking it to the next level. So what he did was gold, now he's going platinum. And I'm excited to it. And the crazy thing is that I'm so excited because I know he's going to do it. Like he's already done what he said. I tell you what, I feel wholeheartedly he will keep his word. And his phrase to us is promises made, promises kept. And he's kept his promises so far. And I'm excited. If he gets this done, I'm telling you now, it is going to be huge for my community. It will help balance out the disparity. And I think it's a great thing that this man is doing, despite what the left is lying, saying he's this and that. How is that racist? If you look at Joe Biden's Lift Every Voice plan, it lifts nothing. Your viewers, go look up both plans. I'll give you, look at both plans and you'll see Joe Biden has no plan for the black community. He only wants to vote. He only wants your vote as well.
Okay, so it sounds like you're saying viewers need to be much more informed at this point. All right.
Absolutely. I'm excited about it, honestly.
Well, you sound like you're a big believer in the American dream, and that's what motivates you. And I know you talked about capitalism, and of course we have a wonderful free market system in the United States. So to talk to me more about the American dream, what is the American dream in your opinion?
The American dream in mine is that you can be a poor child raised by a single mother, okay, low income, okay, hunger nights, not new school clothes, right? And you can go from that humble beginning to an entrepreneur and successful man of owning multiple homes, having, car business, having a bachelor's degree, things of that nature. And I'm not talking 10 houses. I'm talking over 15 houses in one lifetime. And I speak from experience. In this country, there is nothing that can hold you back. And the American dream is you work hard. And if you work hard and you believe it, you can achieve anything and be anything you want to be in this nation. And that was true then, and it's very true still to this day. And I tell you what, don't let no one tell you different, because what I said is my own personal experience. I numbered my stars and I worked hard, in this country rewarded my efforts. And I praise God that I was born here and that I had that chance, despite, racial disparity, despite, what they're saying, injustice. Guess what? Nothing stopped me. And I'm here today telling you that. And I'm proud to be an American every day of my life. And we need to keep America great every day. We got work to do now. We still got work. But guess what? We're making progress under this man. Let's give him another shot to finish what he started.
Wow, very inspiring, very inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing that. And
thank you.
Yeah, so absolutely. And we have a few minutes left. And is there anything else you want to tell voters before they get out and vote? Or what do you think they need to know? Is there anything we left out?
I would just say, in this election, it's huge. Please just look at the research. And for the immigrants and other colored communities, look at the track record that's been done to my people, okay? And the atrocities still being done to my people, and the injustices being done in their cities, such as Breonna Taylor incident, okay? We need justice done and fair trial. People need to be brought to trial for their charges, not exterminated or killed, and when they're unarmed. And guess what? Under this man, it's going to change. He's already implementing the Platinum Plan, better policing, the highest level of professionalism in these communities. It's game time. Every problem, this man actually listens and he responds accordingly. Give him a chance. Joe Biden's, look at his history. The man's been a liar his entire career. He's ran for president, I believe, 2 other times. And lying was one of his biggest detriments to his campaign. The man is a liar. Anything he tells you, please do not believe it. The man's sleepwalking. And I think November 3rd, we help him go head to bed.
It sounds like from your last response that you're against violent protesting. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me tell you something. I'm all for protesting, especially in cases like Breonna Taylor. Now, given, you can see both views, but I feel the lack of transparency from that side has enabled this, basically attitude. The problem is destroying and rioting your cities. We've already seen it's not conducive. It's not going to change that. You're hurting other Americans who did nothing. You're hurting their hard works and labors by burning their businesses down. How does that benefit anybody? We have to stop allowing Antifa.
Well, I guess that's a crime. That's a crime within itself, right? So, they should they be arrested for that? Or, is that
absolutely. You should be arrested to the highest degree and sentenced. They need to be sentenced harshly for this anarchy and arson. At the end of the day, though, I want you to understand something. It's not the Black community that is behind this. It is Antifa has infiltrated the Black Lives Matter movement, and they are using it as a shield to go out and perpetuate their agenda of chaos in election year. You had more Black police on Black shootings under Obama. You seen rioting, but it was never at this scale because you didn't have the leftist arm, Antifa, behind it, fuming the flames. Please, we need to wake up. We need to reconcile. We want justice. We want peace, and we're going to get it. It's on its way. November 3rd, vote right. Donald Trump, I promise you, you will not regret it.
Well, I really admire you as a Black man in America voicing your support for Trump and political activism with such a confidence and valor, and from an educated perspective as well, and very informed. So that's admirable. Now, have you ever gotten any backlash from your community or people coming after you and kind of attacking you for being a Black man who's voting for Trump?
Oh, absolutely. And that's a great sentiment. I'm glad that you actually recognize that is an issue. And again, that's that cultural cancer, because it's perceived when my own people see me that I disagree with the left. I'm not against you. I'm against Democrat. But Black community, Democrat is synonymous. So they feel that I'm an enemy now. They feel, they call me, yeah, I've been called names, you know, Tom, this, but see, never to my face. But also, you know, it's misinformed because I don't follow to the beat of nobody's drum. I am on my own accord. And those that know me know how I am. I'm a leader, I've always been. What I'm saying is look at the facts, take away emotion. And even my family and me have been in heated arguments. Take away emotion and present the facts. If you notice, when I debate people or things of that nature, I never have a notebook. I never have any notes or nothing. I go off the dome straight to you. And the reason why is because I feel it passionately and did my research. Everyone else will bring notebooks and things. I don't need it. I have the facts. So, and it's funny that their notebook ends up ripped by the end of the conversation. But again, yes, I've had it. I've had the, you know, the backlash, and all I'm trying to do is tell my people, voting 90-something% Democrat election in, election out is bad. You will not get justice for those like George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. You won't get it because guess what? The Democrats could have done that over 8 years ago with Obama. He could have passed laws. He did nothing. Wake up. It's time that we hold politicians accountable for the policies that they enact and the stances they take. It's time that we hold them accountable and we vote the right way, the way that the man who actually does what he says, that's the way you should vote. That's the political game. And yes, I have received backlash, but I've also received overwhelming support. And you wouldn't believe, I tell you what, November 3rd, I think people will be shocked at how woke the Black community has now become.
Well, I mean, congratulations to you. And, you know, you said something interesting that the Black community is synonymous with the Democratic Party. Wow, that's a pretty bold statement. Do you think in 100 years from now that will change? And are you making any progress in terms of affecting people? Because you come with a very strong confidence and pose. So are you able to convert people, for lack of a better word, to see what you believe is the truth, to come to the Republican Party? Have you had stories like that in your journey?
Oh, absolutely. I've already registered over 50 African Americans, Republican, to vote within a short amount of time. And there's more on the way. My counterparts across the nation are working very hard. And again, I feel honestly that it's going to pay off because they're seeing what I'm presenting them, and they're understanding that it is time, that we have been under them. And the thing is that it is synonymous. And a lot of times they don't understand that. They don't realize that Democrat Black is being synonymous and we're not getting nowhere. They'll reference to me. They'll say, well, Gino, look at Congress. You know, you got a lot of Black congressmen and women in Congress. You know, that's our party. No, because like you said, you have them in.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. That doesn't mean it's correct just because there's a bunch of people, whether they're Republican or Democrat. I think the whole theme of our episode is that vote for yourself, be informed, read, learn, and then cast your vote. Don't vote straight ticket, don't vote generationally, and don't vote based on the race card or the color of your skin, because that is, you're saying that just leads to chaos and generational destruction for our country.
Absolutely, Gita. And the thing is there is Black congressmen and women in Congress, but guess what? What laws have they gotten passed? None. So it doesn't matter that they're Black on that side. Nothing's getting done on that side.
Track record, kind of look and see what they've done and then vote for them. So again,
thank you.
Yeah, the straight ticket voting, you know, and I know a lot of Republicans do vote straight ticket, but it's always important to kind of be informed. So I'm really glad you brought that up, and I agree. You know, be informed as a voter. That's the theme of the show today. And yeah, so we are out of time. Gino Harris, political activist for Donald Trump, future leader of America. Thank you so much for coming to the show. This has been inspirational, to say the least, and informative. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for the opportunity to speak. God bless you and everyone watching. Keep America great, November 3rd. Promises made, promises kept. Donald Trump.
All right, viewers, well, thank you so much. And visit our site for regular updates coming up on the U.S. elections 2020. I'm Geeta Chopra.